Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at a GAN fast charger by UGREEN, and this is a 100-watt fast charger, and I'm quite excited to try this out because I've only had 65 watts fast chargers so far, and I want to see if it's any different. So first of all, there's some quick features listed on the packaging, so let's quickly look at those. So it has 4-port fast charging, and it has smart protection, it has a foldable plug for you to be able to safely tuck it away, and it is highly compatible with various devices. Let's look at the back to see if we have any more product features listed. So other than that, the input specifications could be 100 to 240 volts with 56/60 hertz, 2.3 amps max. So it has USB C1 and C2 output. It has USB C3 output. And sorry, this sticker is covering the rest of it, but it also has a USB-A output. So the USB C1, C2, and C3 has this similar capabilities. The USB-A is a little bit slower, and it has the total output power of 100 watts max. So now we're going to be opening it up and seeing how it is. Okay, so this is the fast charger with the instruction manual. First impression is it is quite heavy. So let's see some of the ports. It has USB-C, USB-A, USB C1, C2, and C3. And so we're gonna test it out and see how it performs. Okay, so I don't have any devices that can actually support a 100-watt fast charge, but I am still gonna conduct some tests using some phones such as this Galaxy S21 that does have some fast charging capabilities, and I am also going to use an iPad Air, the 4th generation, to see some differences. So this is our 20-watt charger, and the Galaxy S21 that we're going to be using normally only supports up to I believe 25 watts of super fast charging with compatible chargers that has PD 3.0, and the iPad, on the other hand, only supports up to 18 watts of fast charging. So we're just going to be comparing two of them and see how this charger reacts using when we plug in multiple devices, if they're how it splits its power. So we have the USB C1 and USB C2 is supposed to support up to 100-watt max, so you can use this for any devices or laptops that would be able to use that 100 watts of power, or any compatible devices. and USB-C 3 only supports 22.5 watts of power, and so does USB-A. So I'm just gonna test out USB-C 1 using a supported cable. You make sure that you use a supported cable. This 100-watt charger did not come with a supported cable, did not come with a cable, but I believe you might require special cables that support 100-watt charging. But we're just gonna test it with whatever I have. So I am going to plug this in, and this is in super fast charging mode. So it's at 13%, but it will take 1 hour and 4 minutes until full. Now if we compare that to, let's say, this is a 65 watts fast charger, I believe. So let's compare that to this. It also supports super fast charging because of the maximum power that this phone can take is only up to 25 watts. But it can't utilize the whole wattage that these chargers do have. So I am just going to do a charger test using one of my apps. So I'm going to connect this to USB-C 1, and this is an app that I'm using. Okay, so after my second test, this is the milliamps I got. It's 3,492, which was a little bit a lot different from the first reading, but it is charging at a higher capacity for sure, with a fast charger compared, but it's not really that much different from a lower wattage fast chargers like the 65-watt fast chargers, because the maximum speed that this supports, the maximum wattage that this supports is only 25 watts for chargers that are supported by this device. Now let's compare it to this 20-watt Apple charger, and I am going to plug that in. This is at fast charging mode. So as you can see, fast charging, this is 22 minutes, 1 hour is 11 minutes until full, 22%, and 1 hour 11 minutes until full. This was in fast charging mode, but this one is in super charging mode, super fast charging mode, which is only going to take you 1 hour. So now we're gonna try plugging in multiple devices. So let's try first let's try our iPad Air. Just a reminder that the iPad only supports up to 18 watts, I believe. So it's charging. I plugged it in. Okay, so I'm gonna use a different app to test the iPad again. The other one was taking too long. So you just plug it in, press OK, and so this is what it's showing. The current watt is around 14 to 1300, 3.6 volts. And if we, let's plug it into this one. The charging capacity, the current is around, varying around the same, around 1000 to 1300 to 1400 volts, and the milliamps, and the voltage is the same. So yeah, the iPad Air doesn't really support that high of a charge, but we're gonna try to plug in 2 devices, and I'm gonna try to see if so now we're gonna plug in 2 devices, and I'm just gonna see if the charging capacity like changes with multiple devices plugged into the 100-watt charger. So my first device is going to be my phone, the Galaxy S21. It's at super fast charging mode, 56% until 56 minutes until full. And I'm also gonna charge my iPad using the USB-C cable, and I'm gonna use port number 2, and we will see if there's any difference. No, there is not. It's still at super fast charging mode, 56% until full, and we have 2 devices plugged in at the same time, as you can see. So both devices are plugged in, but it's not affecting like the rate of charge for one device at another device's compensation. But because these will not add up to 100 watts for sure. So you are able to use like at least 2 devices for fast charging, and also like, you know, you can also use these slower charging ports at its maximum capacity, and still be able, like, since the maximum wattage is 100 watts, you can charge all of these at like most devices at their maximum capacity, and it will still work. It won't charging of one device won't affect the speed of the other, which is really great for for my usage needs for something like this type of GAN chargers. But yeah, like these would ideally be very helpful for laptops that support or any other devices that support the 100-watt wattage of the capability of these chargers. Unfortunately, I do not have a device like that, but if you do, this would be a great option for you to get. So yeah, that is it for my review. Thank you guys for watching. Now let's talk about some of its other features in detail. This GAN charger can support faster charging and multiple devices at once. It has 4 ports, 3 USB-C ports and 1 USB-A port. The 100-watt GAN charger can support a 100-watt max output from a single port, and it is 3 times faster than an ordinary charger. It can charge an iPhone 13 to 50% in 30 minutes, or fully charge a MacBook Pro 16 in 1 hour and 54 minutes. If you look at the chart, there is different power outputs that you can support from a single port. So if you're using only one port, the USB-C 1 and USB-C 2 can support 100 watts each for single use. USB-C 3 can support power delivery of 22.5 watts, and USB-A USB-A port can support an SCP of 22.5 watts. Now, if you use two ports simultaneously, the USB-C 1 and USB-C 2 ports share wattages. So like USB-C 1 would have a PD of 65 watts and USB-C 2 would have a PD of 30 watts. If you use PD 65 watts, if you use USB-C 1 and USB-C 3, you can use 65 watts and 22.5 watts of power delivery, or 65 watts and 22.5 of watts of SCP if you use USB-A port. You can also do USB-C 2 port and USB-C 3 port, then it's 65 watts and 22.5 watts respectively. If you use 3 ports, as you can see in the first image, the power delivery is 45 watts, 30 watts, and 22.5 watts. And then it's 45 watts, 30 watts, and if you use USB-A, it's SCP of 22.5 watts. Then you have 65 watts, and if you're using the USB-C 3 and USB-A, it's both 5 volts with 2.1 amps. And the last one is if you're using the USB-C 2, it supports 65 watts with 5 volts, 2.1 amps for USB-C 3 and USB-A. I also love its multi-device capabilities. It has 9 protocols including PD and QC that can fast charge almost all popular devices, whether you need to charge a MacBook Pro or an assortment of laptops, tablets, wireless charging pads, or phones. This charger will fast charge what you need when you need it. This charger might seem heavy at the first impression, but it is quite small. It is smaller in size than even the original Apple MacBook Pro charger. It also has more ports, is smaller, cheaper, and easy to carry. I conducted a couple of tests. Since I didn't have the MacBook Pro charger to test the 100-watt charging mode for the GAN charger, I wanted to test if it supports the maximum amount of fast charging for all my devices that have PD mode, and if it can have more power delivered to the devices than standard charging. I was looking to test out its multi-capability features. I plugged in all my devices to see if it would fast charge at each device's maximum capability mode, even when 4 devices are plugged in. I first checked the built-in feature mode for my Samsung phone, which has a super fast charging indicator suggesting it's charging at its fastest speed. Even after plugging in multiple devices, the charging speed didn't change. Since most phones and other electronics on the market currently don't really require that much wattage, it can effectively fast charge multiple popular devices at max wattage allowed for each individual device. For reference, my Samsung S21 only supports up to 25 watts fast charging for specific Samsung chargers only, but the max charge output support is lower for other brand chargers that support PD. My iPad Air 4 only supports 18 watts on PD. After my tests, the Samsung still supported super fast charging at about 13.12 watts PD and the iPad at max of 20 watts PD. If I charge my phone separately, the charging speed doesn't change too drastically either. It also charges at max speed for both devices, the Samsung phone and iPad Air, when 2 devices are plugged in, C1 and C2 respectively. Since C1 would support 65 watts and C2 30 watts PD when 2 devices are plugged in, ensuring maximum output required for my devices. Next, I tested the charging speed of our 100-watt GAN charger with a 20-watt Apple USB-C PD charger for my Samsung Galaxy S21. My Samsung showed 41 minutes until full with super fast charging mode enabled and 44 minutes until full with the 20-watt charger showing just fast charging mode enabled. Granted, a few minutes difference might not seem much, but it might make a big difference, increasing charging speed tens of minutes when battery is completely depleted. And for devices that can fully utilize the amount of power that is 100 watts, this GAN charger is providing a lot more power. My app was also measuring 990 milliamps for the 20-watt charger, which is a lot less than the 100-watt GAN charger speed. Next, I performed a temperature check for the 20-watt charger and the GAN charger. The 20-watt charger was a lot warmer after 15-minute charge test compared to the GAN charger, with a difference of 12 to 13 degrees Fahrenheit, thus portraying the power, efficiency, and energy-saving capabilities of GAN technology. My overall impression of this GAN charger is really good. It supports multiple devices, and it is ultimately like a 4-in-1 fast charging method for all the popular devices out there in the market. Since most devices really don't require the full usage of the 100 watts, it can fast charge multiple devices at once using those charging speeds. It also supports 100-watt GAN charging, supporting products that can fully utilize the 100 watts, such as various laptops like the MacBook Pro or other capable devices.